Good day. With the new year approaching, it's time to consider the forecast for 2026. But first, I'd like to remind you of the events already underway and setting the stage for future events that will unfold next year. As I noted in my previous video, the transiting moon on December 30th was in opposition to Saturn and Neptune. That's when the heaviest bombardment of Odessa, Mykolaiv, and Ukraine as a whole occurred. Tellingly, this was followed by a gradual and after the 15th a sharp drop in oil prices to 59 and $60. But if this price level holds until December 28th, it's quite realistic to assume that the domino principle will begin for the Russian economy. At the same time, it's also possible that Russia will also launch attacks on Ukraine. We'll be lucky if they are weaker than those of December 30th. Now, let's move on the forecast. Or rather, today we'll try to recall historical events of the past when similar planetary constellations occurred, which we'll observe in 2026. First and foremost, this is the movement of Neptune and Saturn through the fire signs, so that by analogy with the past, we can understand what kind of events will occur in the future. Of course, we shouldn't expect a complete analogy or repetition of events, as we live in a period of chaos, which means there won't be a complete analogy, and we need to be prepared for serious surprises. However, we can nevertheless imagine a roof picture. Let me remind you of the years when Saturn and Neptune conjuncted. November 1989, December 1952, July 1953, and July 1917. We'll also recall 8061, when these planets conjuncted in Aries. This is especially important because they will converge in Aries in 2026. These periods are characterized by revolutions, civil strife and war, reforms, and other transformative processes in the world. But now, in addition to what has been said, I propose recalling some events that have been largely forgotten by humanity, but which may make their presence felt in the future. We remember the Spanish flu epidemic on 1918, but few know about the encephalitis lethargica epidemic that swept the world from 1915 to 1928. People would suddenly fall asleep in the most uncomfortable positions, and no one could wake them. The first cases were recorded among soldiers during the Battle of Verdun. In 1916, the disease became widespread and entered an epidemic phase known as encephalitis lethargica. Those affected could sleep for several years, months, years, or even decades. The causes of the disease, its causes and treatment remain unclear. The epidemic ended as suddenly as it began. Incidentally, the behavior of drug addicts on the streets of Canada somewhere resembles the symptoms of encephalitis lethargica, in that people freeze in the most unnatural positions. But as soon as the drug's effects wear off, they continue moving. But what affected the brain, the epidemic, remains unclear. All that's known is that the developed localized inflammation of the brain in the hypothalamus. These effects can be compared to a lobotomy. Overall, 5 million deaths were recorded. About 2 million awoke, but they were no longer the same as before they fell asleep. They became more irritable and aggressive. Furthermore, they reported being unable to wake up or move, as if held by a powerful external force. And by the way, I just remembered my grandma's story about her cousin, who also fell asleep and never woke up. Times were hard, and there were no doctors in their village, so for a long time no one knew what to do with her. They couldn't bury her because she was alive, and no one knew how to treat her. Well, I'll stop there today. Next time we'll try to see something with astrology. Thank you for your attention, and sorry for my English.
И скучно, и грустно, и некому руку подать. В минуту душевной невзгоды желания, что пользы напрасно и вечно желать. А годы проходят, все лучшие годы. Любить, но кого же на время не стоит труда. Вечно любить невозможно. В себя ли заглянешь, там прошлого нет и следа. И радость, и муки, и все там ничтожно. Что страсти ведь рано или поздно их сладкий недуг исчезнет при слове рассудка. И жизнь, как посмотришь, холодным вниманием вокруг. Такая пустая и глупая шутка. Кого же на время не стоит труда. А вечно любить невозможно. В себя ли заглянуть,